It was known as the direct contacts with contemporaries of the events were Father Salvador Pons, Apolinario Mabini, and Manuel Artigas y Cuerva. They spoke briefly about the events of 1872 Cavite Mutiny in connection with their other writings. Father Salvador Pons, an Augustinian priest who first came to the Philippines in 1884, left his order in 1899 in Manila and returned against the friars and collaborating with the founders of the Iglesia Filipina Independiente. His writings should be treated with caution to those that may be considered historical in any way, as they were written in haste with similar carelessness and exaggeration. Pons re-entered the Augustinians and spent the rest of his life in a monastery in Germany, since he retracted his anti-friar and anti-Catholic writings as a whole and spent much of his rest of his life in refuting them. Apolinario Mabini. Mabini makes no claim to have had first-hand knowledge of the events, but without taking any position on the cause of the revolt, states clearly that the three priests were innocent of it. Mabini's chapter is not a narrative, but rather a discussion of the place of the martyr priests in the revolution, from his reference to Burgos' protest of his innocence on the scaffold, while Mabini was intimately involved with the newspaper support in Manila. Manuel Artigas y Cuerva. Artigas is a Filipino biographer, historian, and scholar. He has accounts about various aspects of the Philippine history. His writings contain the fullest account of Cavite Mutiny, including those not previously published. Artigas has gathered testimonies and documents from many sources. He does not cite the sources of his documents. The tendency of his works is to accumulate information of all kinds without giving much evidence of his critical evaluation on his own part. With Artigas, the published histories of the events of 1872 based on immediate knowledge or direct information come to an end. All subsequent books and articles on the subject were based on the sources, which further complicated the already difficult problem of the contradictions in the published accounts of the 4 decades after the events. Evidences. He attributes the revolt of 1872 to the friars, as was said almost publicly. Pons states clearly that the three priests were innocent. Mabine, the fullest account of the Cavite Mutiny and its background, which has appeared up to the present. The account of Artigas combines the maximum of information, documentation, and detail with at least a minimum of critical treatment of his sources. Artigas provides the foregoing analysis of these early accounts of the Cavite Mutiny.